Greetings, this is August 22nd at 5 p.m. and I'm giving another quick update because I have some concerns about the south wind and the drying climate with this increase in temperature that we're seeing really just for today, and then it should cool off. I'm noticing some increased infrared hotspots and radiative power spots as indicated on the Google Earth KML, which you can link to in the description below. Here we are at the top of Mount Jim, looking eastwards towards Pressy Lake, and you can see there are some new hotspots popping up towards the Little Green Lake Road. And if we turn to the southeast, you can see a lot of new hotspots north of Young Lake, and much closer at the foot of Jim Mountain, a number of increased hotspots. Now, these could be part of a control strategy. They could be backburning in the area because they have this consistent south wind. But I just wanted to show you the proximity to some areas. Here we are pulling back, looking over top of Green Lake towards the southeast, and that's approximately 8 kilometers away. So Green Lake does have quite a defensive positioning with all these small lakes, but there are the large forested areas on top of the hill, and you should be made aware of what I am seeing on the screen. So if we jump over to the NRC's most recent update, we can see west of the Rayfield River and that valley, there is a significant amount of infrared showing, but not a lot in the other areas. So we're going to go to the most recent map now, 6 to 12 hours, and the 6-hour map. And we see there has been new development, but if we jump to just the last 6 hours, we can see no new development. So here again is the full map with all the times indicated, and you can see the terrain and where that infrared is being positioned. But let's go back to the Google Earth KML, and this is available in a link below. It just says Google Earth KML, and this is through the RSAC, and they've put a nice package together where you can go to Canada and then link to either VIIRS or MODIS and look at more detail for your area of concern. Here we are looking at the radiative power indications, and specifically the northern flank as it approaches Mount Jim and the North Bonaparte Road. We can see there is some new intensity north of Young Lake. I also see a new spot southeast of Pressy Lake, and I am also noticing some intensity between the Loon Lake Valley and the Bonaparte Valley. We'll switch now from the radiative power map to the infrared map, and this is on the VIIRS system. We are seeing more activity in recent hours than we were in the last 24-hour check. So if we zoom in to the northern flank, we're seeing a lot of activity most recently west of the Rayfield River and north of Young Lake and southeast of Pressy Lake. We are noticing some new activity around the Marsden, Hutchinson, Sodium Lake area. Now I'm going to combine the two maps, so we have both the MODIS and the VIIRS, and this gives us an indication of when and the outlying areas, the size of this new developments. We can see a lot of activity also south of Hwycam in that area around Brousseau, Barricade Creek, and we do see some more activity west of Young Lake. Here we're zooming into the north flank, This is approximately 7-8 kilometers south of Green Lake, and we are seeing a lot of intensity to the north of Young Lake, and now two very recent hotspots near Little Green Lake Road and the North Bonaparte Road intersection. I'd like to remind viewers that we are only looking at dots on a screen. They can be 500 meters to a kilometer off their intended position. Also, we don't have eyes on the ground here. You have to go to the official regional maps linked below in order to find out the exact size of the perimeter. What we are doing is looking at data indicated from today showing infrared and radiative power as displayed on these satellite systems. Now we're going to take a look at combined layers south of Hwycam and northeast of Hwycam. That's in the Hudson Bay Lake area. We see 2 or 3 spots that have popped up. This has been a volatile region in the past, and we're going to have to keep a watch on those. They are nearing the Deadman River Canyon. They've been there in the past, now they're back again. If we look at Hwycam, we see a lot of new intensity in that area approximately 6 kilometers south. There are large tracts of forestation. However, the fire has lingered here as displayed on infrared and radiative power. The infrared still appears back from the western ridge of the Deadman River approximately 2 to 3 kilometers. I'm going to show you an image from 3 days ago. This is infrared hotspots indicated on the AVHRR system. And I could not verify this data. It was showing fire activity north of North Bonaparte Road on the southern flank of Mount Jim. That has either been extinguished or has disappeared, or the data was off. So just to let you know, things do pop up and they should be verified multiple times. Those spots are not appearing on anything right now. However, I feel you should be made aware of them because we are seeing increased infrared activity south of North Bonaparte Road and south of Green Lake. So this is noted, and it needs verification. Check with the official links below to see if the perimeter has expanded, or if there's new notices and alerts that you should be aware of. Okay, we've moved over to Windy now, and we are looking at 12 kilometers coming from the south, and that is approaching Green Lake, and it's fairly consistent throughout the area. Where you see the brighter green, that's higher wind velocity. It's going to vary on ridges, hills, gullies. Also on the plateaus you might get some gusts. I'm now switching over to the cam at Sheridan, and I am seeing haze in the area. We are looking west towards Bridge Lake, and this is probably from that southern wind blowing up that activity around Young Lake northwards. However, if we go to the Begbie cam, we are seeing some high clouds, but little or no haze. So the wind direction is slightly different here. It's bringing in more fresh air. And if you go to DriveBC, you can see where the cams are, and this is kind of how I get some spotting or ground truthing as far as what activity is happening in different areas. Let's jump back to the Anaheim webcam. And this was earlier in the morning before lunch. A lot of smoke, haze in the area. They are predicted to have rain come, but we could see this dense particle fog. Using the highway cam system, I could see some clear air at the Heckman summit and did suggest driving out there to grab a breath, but I hope you didn't take my advice, because here is the situation now. The smoke that was at the Anaheim highway cam has rolled this way, and what was can now be seen. this is back at Anaheim. So this is how I use the webcams or the highway cams at DriveBC to kind of navigate around the province and get an indication of what is actually happening at a fairly quick update speed. Also, they have weather links, so you can verify the data on windy by just clicking and seeing what the forecast is. It would be nice to see wind data on this list. Unfortunately, it doesn't pop up very often. Now back to windy, and looking there, we see 7 kilometers an hour primarily coming from the southwest. And if we jump around the region, we can see here 9 kilometers an hour coming primarily from the south-southeast, and I'm hoping that this is not causing smoke problems for them on that fire line that's been very vigorous south of them. We are jumping over to Hanceville, and that's 6 kilometers coming from the south-southwest. That may be a little lighter because you can see there's this trough south of them. Now we're looking at 93 mile, and it may actually feel like a gale at 12 kilometers an hour, and wind looks like it's coming from south-southeast, so that may also carry a bit of smoke from the Elephant Hill fire. We are now going over to Clinton, and that is pretty much the same at 12 kilometers from the south-southeast. Very consistent over the whole region. Just around Savona and the Kamloops Lake is it slowing down. We are now looking at Green Lake again, and 12 kilometers coming from the due south, and that has raised my concerns as I stipulated in the start of the video. I've also had a comment from a viewer, Rapunzel A, that smoke is visible from the southwest from the vantage point of the Caribou sign. So I'm going to interpret the data saying that there is intensity southwest of Pressy Lake, north of Young Lake, and south of the North Bonaparte Road. However, I do not know what the origin of this new intensity is, whether it's a control strategy, backburning, or whether it's increase in fire activity, or if the data is now more accessible. I'd like to take a quick look at the EO browser and just familiarize you with its capabilities and what is available through the European Space Agency and the Sentinel satellites. When you go to the browser, you'll see a window, and that allows you to search the data that you want to acquire. Just indicate the dates and the satellites that you wish to search. Then you'll be taken over to a results page where you can see the different satellite images which were made available during the time period that you specified. Then we can click on a visualization button, and it loads up the data. And once you're in the visualization mode, you can adjust the filters to get the best view, or to get different types of data like chlorophyll levels for plant life, or thermal levels to indicate where fires may be occurring. We've been looking at images of the Elephant Hill fire perimeter, and each screen requires a degree of interpretation, and you should familiarize yourself with what you're actually looking at. That's available in the links below. You may find it useful. I find it good for comparison with the Landsat satellite images. So this is an active wildfire. We are watching the northern flank. There's been an increase in wind velocity from the south. The air is very dry. It's been hot today. This is the time when we develop a concern about where the fire might move in the evening. So you want to have all your information verified, and check the links below. You want to have your escape routes planned, you want to know your position, and you want to have all your resources prepared ahead of time. Be safe, everyone, and thank you very much for watching and your comments. I appreciate it.